Hey guys, Andrea Cox here. Just got done eating some vegan cheesecake that was absolutely delicious. And I want to talk to you guys about something. A lot of you guys are in codependent relationships. You're asking what I do with my intuitive life coaching. And what I do best outside of my wellness coaching with the intuitive life coaching is I help women and men get out of toxic relationships. Karmic relationships. I have the ability to look at your astrological chart and tell you if you're in a karmic relationship or not. Codependent relationships. A lot of you ladies can't leave because you don't have any money to leave. You know your man's doing shady stuff online. You know that he's fixated on an ex so much and dragged you into that. You know that he's doing things out of the house or hiding money from you. You can't leave because you don't have your own money. So I'm going to show you something. So the first thing you need to do is you need to have your own bank account so you can hire me. And then I'll tell you how to get out of this situation. So we're going to call my bank.
Para servicio en español, marque 9. This call may be monitored or recorded. To get started, say, "My voice is my password. Please verify me."
My voice is my password. Please verify me.
Thanks. Your checking account has an available balance of $111,593.85. This includes a direct deposit in the amount of...
So now that we've established that I am who I say I am, let's establish what you're going to do. So a lot of you need to hire someone like me. You need an intuitive life coach that can help you strategize and create a plan to get out of the situation you are. A lot of you guys aren't bringing in any money, right? You got your little $4,000 SBA loan and you feel good for about a month until that's gone. And you guys really, you don't have a plan, do you? But you have someone that's definitely controlling you. You have someone that's making the decisions for you. You have someone that's controlling your money. But who's in control of you and your decisions? Do you have your own bank account? Number one. Do you have your own savings account? Number two. You shouldn't have to hide money in your children's name. You shouldn't have to hide money, period. But sometimes when you're in a codependent situation, you do. Now, what is codependency? By the way, that was just my checking account. That's not my savings account or what I have in stocks and bonds. That's not what I have in a Roth IRA. That was just my checking account. So now that we know I don't talk out of the side of my cheek, let's talk about what I can do for you. If you're in a codependent, toxic relationship, now let's define that, right? All relationships get toxic at some point or another, even with our best friends. But codependency is different. Codependency, that's one of my clients, sorry. Codependency means that you are dependent in some way, shape, or form on the other person, either emotionally, maybe you're with some young chick and she makes you feel good about yourself or something and she's not even all that. Or women, you could be financially dependent on a man, can't do anything without him, got to ask him for grocery money, rent money, whatever money. You can be physically dependent on someone. You can actually go through withdrawals when you're without them. What I'm trying to say to all of you is if you don't have enough in the bank for at least a year's, that wouldn't even get me through a year. Wouldn't get me through 6 months. You don't have enough in the bank for at least a year on your own, you're stuck. But I can help you create a strategy, a business model to get you out of where you're at. Little background about me. I was engaged 3 times. I had an ex-partner who tried to ruin my business, him and a group of other people. I actually had to reinvent myself twice in my life and create an all new business model just to dig myself out of the trenches. I ended up in another relationship that lasted a few years that was full of verbal abuse and at times even physical abuse. And That relationship ended with me having literally nothing. So bad that my electricity at one point was being threatened to be shut off. And it was at that time that I reinvented myself. I reinvented the wheel. I started a second business in spirituality outside of my health business. And I went from having no money to making $20,000 a month. So that is my story. Now, again, even with that business, same people came back to try to take and take and take. And again, I had to reinvent myself again. So it was like every business I created, my ex would come in to tear it down, just like he promised to do years ago. So every business I would create, and I'm not coming from a victim mentality because look at me, I keep rising above, right? Every business I would create, this person I had dated, his partner, their whole group would come in and try to tear it down and steal from my idea to build off my back. So it was like I was constantly having to reinvent myself to bring in a living. And at one point I began publicly just saying, enough is enough. And I had to really find my backbone and be my own husband to raise awareness to what was going on. So at least they knew that I knew what was going on. Now, here's the beautiful thing about this. If I stand up, I'm almost 6 foot tall, so that'll cut off. The beautiful thing is I rose above. I actually moved out of a home I had lived in for 9 years to a much more beautiful space. So what I realized is I may have lost a few battles along the way, but I actually won the war. I wasn't with a thief and a liar, the person who said, I will ruin you on the internet and proceeded to attempt to do so. I wasn't stuck in that nightmare. I wasn't scared anymore when they would send people to post negative comments on my social media posts. I actually hired someone to handle that for me, so I didn't even have to see it. I wasn't scared anymore. I actually stepped into my power, and the beautiful thing was I wasn't in a codependent situation. I was in a situation where I could stand on my own 2 feet, date who I wanted to date, get married to someone if I wanted, be with whoever I wanted to be with, spend time during the day with whoever I wanted to spend time with, and be my own person. So here's what I'm going to say to you today. If you are struggling, if you are scared, if you do not know how you are going to get out of the situation you are in, if you don't have a business plan, a game plan, and a plan of action, if they ask you to leave the house, the intuitive life coaching is for you. Is it free? Absolutely not. Is it going to cost you something? Absolutely. Is it worth it? It is worth every penny. I will take you through step by step how to handle every single trial and tribulation that comes your way. Because at the end of the day, I ended up winning the war. And when you win the war in something as harsh as I was pushed into, you really realize you can rise above anything. Because at the end of the day, I may have lost a few battles, but I ended up winning the war. And the war is called freedom. Freedom from codependency, freedom from toxic karmic relationships and soul ties, freedom to create freely without the fear of people stealing from me because they could not create from their own seed, but constantly were taking of mine. Those people know. They know that I know now. They know that I have a team of people that are on the lookout for plagiarism and things like that. They know this. So the freedom to move wherever I wanted, to date whoever I wanted, to marry whoever I wanted, without being under the constant boot of a man that was trying to control and manipulate me long after I had left him. Long after. So a lot of you people are with that partner. If you're a man, you're with someone who's verbally abusive, who's spending all your money, who maybe has an alcohol or a drug problem, who you're just working and working and working yourself into the ground, and this person's using you. They're using you for your money. And a lot of you women, or for a place to live, right? A lot of you women, you are in a codependent toxic relationship. You can't pay your bills. You can't pay for the shoes on your kids' feet. You can't pay for your groceries. You can't pay your rent. You can't pay a house payment by yourself. You're weakened. You're in a weakened state. And this is sad, but it's true. And some of you could be doing very well financially, but you're toxically codependent emotionally, which is really bad. So reach out. I'm going to post the link below. The link is below. Click the link. You'll see these little shaky boxes on the link of the Intuitive Life Coaching. That's your questionnaire. Fill out the questionnaire, and I will get back to you within 24 hours. I will be the only one reading the answers to those questions. My assistant knows not to read the answers to those questions. Everything is kept 100% confidential. I would not have the clientele I do, the who's who in LA and New York, etc., if I didn't keep things hush-hush. If you are worried about the monetary expense of this, I promise you it will be the best investment you ever make in your life. Why? Because it's an investment in yourself. I'm Andrea Cox. I will see you on the other side. Be well.